OpenAI just secretly launched structured outputs. Imagine an AI that never makes mistakes and gives you exactly what you ask for, 100% reliability. This means great for developers because it can speak the language of developers. It can give you UX components and other components in the schema that you're looking for. So it's not just an upgrade, and I'll show you why this is a revolution in how we interact with AI. And it doesn't matter if you are a business, a tech enthusiast, or a developer, watch until the end because I'm going to show you how you can create your own mini agent system using the structured output. Don't worry, the code to this agentic system is going to be absolutely available for you for free when you go to my school community, and you get to interact with over 450 AI entrepreneurs. Now, if you want to fast track your success in building AI agents, we have an AI Agent Accelerator program. Currently, it's at 80% off. So if you want to now join the AI revolution, we have limited seats available. First and foremost, what is the OpenAI structured output? In simple terms, it's a way that AI speak our language quite literally. So if you're a developer, you probably face this, right? You get a blob of text from the AI or ChatGPT. Now you have to parse this into JSON format, or maybe in a schema that you want to send off to a database, or maybe create a UX component. Now, structured format makes it easy because it gives you the data in a format that you specify. So, for example, you want a schema in this format, you want a specific data for a table, you want the AI to give you exactly this schema, and it can do so now 100%, and then you can send off that response to either another agent, or it could be a database, or whatever you can think of. The benefit is also reliable type safety, explicit refusals, simple prompting, no need to strongly worded prompts to achieve consistent formatting. I don't know if you face this, but for a while we had issues when we were creating applications. We had to make sure that the data was parsed in a specific format and that it was consistent. AI, as you know, can always generate random things here and there, messing up the whole flow. If you work with voice flow, you probably worked with the JavaScript code to make the schema fit into the AI, but it never worked. So now OpenAI is making it a lot easier for us to move data between systems. Now, you might be thinking, well, how is it different from JSON? JSON is a more basic version of the structured output. JSON mode ensures that model outputs is valid JSON. Structured output really reliably matches the model's output to the schema you provide. Okay? And we're going to dive into the code so you can exactly see step by step how the structured output works and how you can also provide schemas to align with other systems. Okay? Before we dive into the exact details and give you a bunch of code, I want to explain why you need this and also how it works briefly. Okay, so you're a developer, you're working on a chatbot for an e-commerce site, and you ask AI to give you product recommendations based on the user's preference. What you get back is a paragraph of text. Sometimes it includes price, sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes it lists 3 products, sometimes 5. It's a parsing. I remember one time I was creating a recommendation system, and then I had to create a gallery of cards. Okay, if you're familiar with VoiceFlow, we create a gallery of cards. And I was working with the UX component in Streamlit. Now the problem was every time it gave me inconsistent output, so I couldn't really fit into the UX components. Now, if you haven't faced this, that's great, but this is going to unlock so many opportunities to create an end-to-end application, maybe an AI agent app, or you could create agents that talk to other agents and fit it really nicely with a database. So this changes the whole dynamic. So what that means, you can actually go out there to businesses without having to think about, oh, is it going to break? Is it going to do this and that? Because now it gives you that power to create reliable systems. Well, let's get into the good stuff. How does structured output work exactly? So structured output uses something called a JSON schema. This is a JSON schema. Now, if you're not familiar with JSON schema, don't worry. So JSON schema is pretty much a language of data or a blueprint, okay? You tell the AI, I want a response with these specific fields, and each field has a specific data format. There's different data formats if you're not familiar with. The most common is string, number, and objects. This schema is saying, give me an object with this schema, with the product name, that is a string, with price, that is number, whether it's in stock or not. A Boolean means true or false. So it's going to give me that information. The required field means that I need all these data points. Okay, no skipping. Now, as you can see, the AI has context exactly what you're trying to do when you provide a schema in this format, and it can also return a structured output. So you know how this works, and I'm sure you're now excited to build your own AI agent systems using structured outputs. I'll give you a few examples, real-world applications that you can use today. For example, imagine you're a data scientist working with large, messy data. With structured output, you can ask the AI to analyze the data, return results in a consistent, easy-to-use format. No more shifting through paragraphs of text to find the insights you need. So this is already a role in a job. So this just changes the whole dynamic, okay? Because you can take in messy data, clean it up, send it off to a maybe data visualization agent, and it can produce charts. And to produce charts, it probably needs a few specific guidelines or a schema. Send off that data to that agent. And then you can think about a content generation system. We're going to be creating these agents as well, so you can actually see how to do that with the structured output. So don't worry about that right now, but understand that this is available to you. Okay? So for content generation, the structured output can be a game changer, because you can ask the AI to generate content like social media posts or even entire articles, all in structured format that fits seamlessly into your workflow. So if you work with the Instagram API or any other platforms that you use to generate content, well, now you can actually produce these structured outputs and then plug it into your system reliably, and it will save you a lot of automations. It will save you a lot of code. Now, customer support is also great because once the conversation has been complete, you can now send off that data in a more structured, cohesive format. You don't have to parse in some other way or whatever. You can already think about key information like resolution steps, relevant policy information, escalation procedures if needed. You can get this in a structured or send it in a structured format. Now, all this is done by AI on the back. Okay, let's show you how you can navigate the documentation from OpenAI. Make sure you read through the structured output, understand what exactly it's doing. They provide some examples how you can use chain of thought. You can ask the model to output an answer in a structured step-by-step way to guide the user to a solution. In this case, let's say this is a math tutor and you want to see exactly the steps this tutor is following to solve the problem. You can get the response as specific steps, right? So you can see you have the output at each step, the explanation and output, and you can provide these schemas. So you can maybe plug this into some other system or send it off to another agent. But providing these additional chain of thought allows you to understand exactly how these agents are solving the problem, and maybe debug or handle these responses individually effectively. Then you have structured data extraction. You can define the structured fields to extract from unstructured input data such as research papers. This is great. So you put in a bunch of text like a PDF document or something like that, and you tell the agent to now put together a structured format such as this, right? So what are the titles referenced in that PDF file? Who are the authors? You can specify them in any format that you desire, and you can actually have individual elements of these, right? If you think about a data table, you can connect them individually. If you want to learn more how you can create agentic systems, how you can create databases, and how to work with these next generation AI systems, join the AI Agent Accelerator program. We have 80% off, limited seats available. Once you join, we're going to hop on a quick strategy call so we understand exactly what your challenges are for you, and we can craft a strategy for you, give you more clarity. And you're also going to connect with like-minded individuals who are also going to help you throughout your journey in building agents. And you're going to also get your personal community agent that you can talk to, and it will guide you throughout the process as well. The link is going to be in the description. UI generation, which is my favorite component, because now you can think about generating your website or generating your app. So this is exciting, right? So app has different components. Let's say a button, an image, title, text, and it needs to be in specific formats. It could be a little bit tricky when you're working with HTML and JavaScript. So make sure you read through all these documents. If you understand the languages, that's great. But understand UI generation unlocks a lot of capabilities. Here's some supported schemas to map your data with the structured output. I'm going to release more videos working with structured output, and I'll share some insights. Feel free to go through the documentation yourself, and also comment below if you have any challenges and any new insights working with structured output. Okay, let's look at the example provided by OpenAI to understand how to use structured outputs. So we're going to use the chat completions.parse. This is going to help us parse the structured output schema that we're going to provide. So we have to provide a schema, something like this: the name, whether it's a string or number, date, string or number, participants list strings. This object that we're going to provide to OpenAI will help it to understand how to parse the response output. Okay, so once we run this, we're going to get the answer in this specific format. And notice the structured output is available to specific models. So in this case, GPT-4o has a much updated version, which was released just recently. So this is also quite released. And if you want to test this out, this is a brand new model, and I encourage you to try it, and also comment below what your findings are. Now, you can use structured output via function calling or response format. A lot of people actually get confused. What's the difference between JSON and structured output? JSON will give you, a standard JSON output, but it doesn't adhere to a schema. That's the main difference. So if you have a schema that you already provide, something like this, how the data should be formatted, then the output will always be reliable, 100%. JSON is not always the case, and the compatible models, as you can see, there's only a few models that are compatible. So use only these models when you're using the structured output. So once you're using the structured output, you should also pay attention why and when you're using it. So when you're using function calling, you're going to need to parse the data to send out to different UI components, or perhaps interact with databases like Airtable, etc. So for example, you can give the model access to functions that query a database in order to build an AI assistant that can help users with their orders. Okay, so you can already imagine, if you're working with Airtable, you can provide a schema for your data table with the right columns, etc. So it can parse the response, get the specific output from the data table, or maybe input a row into a data table. So all these things can be done more reliably with structured output. If you work with VoiceFlow and you've generated gallery of cards or UI elements with JavaScript, etc., and you have to play around with a lot of code, do a lot of magic wizardry to basically get it to work. In this case, you don't need to do that. You just basically have the LM model respond out with a specific format, so you can produce these UI elements. Okay, so that's the main thing. With the response format, it's more suitable when you want to indicate a structured schema for use when the model responds to the user, rather than when the model calls the tool. If you go under function calling in the OpenAI documentation, notice they have changed a lot of content here. So read through it. I'm going to make another video exactly on function calling with structured output. But this is a game changer because now you can specify like the structure of the output. Think about a case when the customer comes in, wants to find the delivery date for an order. The assistant could respond to something like, hey, can you provide the order ID? And the user provides the order ID. Once you get the order ID, you can now interact with the database with a specific schema, and using a function call, get the output back from the database with the right schema, and then send it back to the user. There's a section called function calling with structured output. By default, when you use function calling, the API will offer best effort matching for your parameters, which means that occasionally the model may miss parameters to get their types wrong using complicated schemas. Structured output is a feature that ensures model outputs for function calls will exactly match your supplied schema. Okay, so structured output for function calling can be enabled with a single parameter just by supplying strict equals to true. We're going to cover this in another video, but let's look at the structured output specifically with the response format. Okay, when using the response format, it's more suitable when you want to indicate a structured schema for use when the model responds to the user rather than the model calls a tool. So there's two distinct differences, but they're both using these strict schema rules to give the exact reliable answer. So in the response format, when you're using a chat completion model, it's very simple. We just specify the response format equals to the schema that we provided initially, okay? And then we're gonna do some practice to help you understand how these schema works, what does it look like with or without the structure output. I'm gonna now dive into some code, and I'm going to show you some examples of structured output. We're going to talk about how structured output works, and then some real-world examples. We're going to create a data analysis agent. We're also going to create a content generation agent. We're also going to create a simple agentic project. It's a multi-agent data processing system. We're going to have a data processing agent and analysis agent. Okay, so it's going to take a bunch of data. So think of the data looking like apple, banana, cherry, a list of fruits, and the quantity. We take this data. The data processing agent is going to process the data. The analysis agent is going to produce the analysis and the charts. So finally it's going to create something like this, right? We're going to use local Python libraries to produce these charts, but this is all done through collaboration. And because the structured output is reliable, we can have these agents talk to each other without having a headache. Okay, so let's go line by line to help you understand how this code works. First and foremost, you're going to use pip install OpenAI. Again, this code is going to be available to you for free. The link is going to be in the description. And you're going to plug in your secrets here under the secret panel. So you're locked and loaded. Go ahead and install all the libraries and packages needed for this build. Now, in the first structured output example, we're going to show you what it looks like without the structured output and then one with the structured output. Okay. In this example, we just say, give me information about the planet Mars. And then in the structured output format, we say, give me information about planet Mars in the following JSON format. We give an example. And again, this is good practice when you're doing prompt engineering. You want to provide examples: name, Mars, diameter, number, distance, number. So we're helping the LM model understand exactly what kind of output we want. And yeah, we're using the chat completion and we're using GPT-4 Mini. So once we run the code, you'll notice that the unstructured output is just text. It is the output that you already familiar with, right? So this is not so much important. If you think like a developer, we want exactly some JSON data to work with, to parse, send off to other systems. This is why the structured output is also important. So when we get the structured output, we actually get the data in this format: name, Mars, blah, Mars is home to the tallest volcano in the solar system, etc. Now let's change this up a little bit. Let's disregard this first example. Give me information about a few planets or about 5 planets in the following JSON format. Let's run this and see what happens. So when we run this, as you can see in the structured output, we have Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter. This is great. This is 5 as exactly what we're looking for. All right, let's go to another example. In this example, we are actually providing a schema. Schema, as you know, it's kind of like an example. We're providing a JSON file and we specify the name, age is student. So name is going to be string, age number, boolean is true or false, etc. And the required field is going to help the LM model know whether this field is required or not. Okay, this is great. So like user comes in and you want to capture specific items from the user. Let's say customer service, they want to know whether this is a business, whether they are qualified for a loan or whatever. Okay, so we need these specific items. Okay, so once we specify this and we run the LM model again, it's going to basically now give us back the JSON object in this format. Here's an example of a structured output for a data analysis agent. Okay, so let's say we have data in this format. Now, like a table like product, sales, inventory, and then you have specific items here like widgets, gadgets, this, and then you have sales data, inventory data. This is like an input. Okay, so the analysis prompt for this data analysis agent is going to be do the analysis on this following sales data and provide insights. Okay, we're providing this data and respond in the following JSON format: total sales, best-selling product, inventory status, recommendation, whatever this could be. So once we run this, we're going to get an output that looks like this. Okay, inventory status: widgets are overstocked, gadgets are understocked, have sample inventory. Recommendations: increase products of gadgets to meet the demand, consider promotions, analyze market trends. So this is great. It's doing the data analysis and it's also providing actionable recommendations to do based on what it's seeing in the data, right? This is just a game changer. Now let's go to the content generation agent. So in this case, let's say we say generate a short blog, outline the important benefits of exercise. Okay, the title is going to be string, introduction, string, main points, conclusion. Okay, we're trying to write a blog and we want specific elements for that blog. Now, you might be getting ideas now. You're like thinking, okay, maybe I could create a list of blogs. Okay, if I have a table with specific titles, I can then send off automations to this agent to produce these components and then combine these components to a complete end-to-end blog, right? There's so many possibilities. And you can do all this with code. If you know how to write code, you can just say what you want to say. So you say what you want to create and the agent is going to create the entire system for you. If you resonate and if you're finding this video helpful, make sure you like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, share it with your friends, get them on board. This is a 1.5 trillion market by 2030. Let's build them agents and let's help you unlock the full potential of your AI agent. Okay. All right. So, all right, cool. So so the first blog is going to be generate a short blog benefits of exercise. Okay, let's go ahead and run this. All right, so we get all the components needed for the block. So as you're building this agents with structured output, there's a couple of best practices you need to think about. You want to keep it simple, be specific, use nested structures, test and iterate, handle edge cases, document your schemas. Okay, these are schemas that you're going to work with, something like this. So just like anything, you have to be persistent. You have to keep working on it, see what gives you the best output, and then just document it. Okay, keep a note of that, what works. So later on, you can keep using it over and over again. Now, this is why I tell you to also use Google Collaboratory. This is great to help you kind of like document a bunch of code. In this case, all the examples and everything. And this will be provided to you for free. So don't worry, you can customize this for your use case as well. Now let's go to the last example, which is a multi-agent data processing agent. This is how it's going to work. Okay, so we have a data processing agent. We're going to give that data processing agent a bunch of data. So think about the data in this format: apple, banana, cherry. It's a table, right? So we get the data, process, get the report. It's going to be pretty simple. The only thing you need to think about is that each agent has specific tools or functions. For example, the data processing agent has the function to process data. All right, so this is already written out. You can modify it with your own functions, assign the specific functions needed for the processing agent. Okay, so the analysis agent has the analyze data. So what it's going to do is it's going to analyze the given data and provide insights. And then lastly, we're going to visualize the insights based on what we've uncovered over here, the raw data, and it's now cleaning the data: apple value 5, banana 3, cherry 7, date 2. Now in this case, there was no kind of issues, right? But imagine, okay, so it's doing this. Then the analysis results, it's basically doing a summary. It's aggregating the data. This is cool. So now it's getting a total of the numbers 5, 3, 7, 2. There it's getting the average. And then it also has the insights here. As you can see, visualization purposes, we take the process data and then we create a simple visualization: apple, banana, cherry, date, quantity. We also get the actionable insights. So already you can imagine yourself creating a data analyst or data scientist using all these methods, right? And giving actionable insights. Somebody comes in, wants to know something about the data in a specific format, it can quickly pump out these charts. Now let's put on our Star Trek hat and understand what this means for the future. Okay, so we could have a new era of AI assisted coding. So what this means is you can ask for code completions or entire functions, UX components. You can create websites. Now you can create anything you can imagine. This is going to be better and better with each iteration. Okay, you can create an agentic system to create websites. Okay, because the components are already there. You just have to put this all together. Now, I come from a data science ML background. In the world of data science pipelines, this is really amazing because you can not only clean the data, but you can perform complex analyses. You can create complex statistical analyses which requires a lot of domain knowledge. But now you have AI to take over and do all this stuff and then eventually produce the visualization. So you're going from the data to actual actionable insights really fast. So what that also means that agents could be creating new ML models, and that unlocks ML 2.0. It's crazy. Agents creating agents. Okay, this is where the future is going. I'm going to bring in some guests on the podcast, so they'll tell you where this is going on the business side of things, and how does human and business partnership look like. And it also means that we're going to an AI-driven decision support system. This system could take vast amounts of data, provide structured recommendation for everything: inventory management, strategic planning. This is also great for recommendation systems, and I'm very excited about that. I'll make more videos on it, how you can create recommendation system with vector databases. The possibilities are endless. Structured output is laying the groundwork for a future where AI is not just a tool, it's reliable, a consistent partner for your work. What do you think? How do you think structured output is changing your field? Let me know in the comments, okay? And I truly think we are heading towards a future where AI will do all the heavy lifting, AI will do all the work while we create agents. If you're excited, if you want to create your agents, make sure you join our AI Agent Accelerator program so you can get started, get the help you need, and get the tools, exactly what you need. No more confusion, no more AI news, no more chatbots. While you're waiting, somebody else is creating, so join in fast. So this is great. So structured output means you can start creating your AI agent apps. So if you're building Custom-GPT, move away, because now you can work with your own database, start creating AI agent apps. Watch this video to understand how you can quickly create your AI agent apps in 15 minutes. And then also watch this video to see how you can create your own vector database from scratch. Okay, so once you have your vector database, you can create recommendation systems, you can create agent apps, you can start selling it ASAP. Now, again, make sure you like, subscribe, hit that notification bell if you enjoyed the video. GP Pioneers, let's go.